Okay, I've been asked to recreate this Timucuan Indian ceremonial owl statue that was found on the bottom of the St. Johns River near Pontoon Island in 1955. This was dredged up on accident in 1955. It is now in the Gainesville Museum. So this is what I've been asked to recreate out of the Snider. I'm all self-taught as a carver. I use an arsenal of mostly power tools, starting with very small chainsaws, grinders, die grinders, and I also use several different other grinders with chainsaw blades on them that are kind of new in the wood carving arena. It was originally, it grew to the height of 160 feet tall. In 1966, a hurricane took off the top 40 feet. So when it burned, caught on fire, it was about 120 feet tall. It was between 15 and 17 feet in diameter. This was the 8th oldest tree in the world before it met its demise. So there are only 7 other trees in the world that are over 3,500 years old.
Compare this one to as far as the historic significance and the background. Anything you would compare this to that you've worked on in the past couple of years?
Well, I have worked on a couple of pieces that came from the bottom of the St. Johns River near the old mill in Geneva. But at most, those that wood was possibly 2,000 years old. I have never had the pleasure to work on something as ancient as a 3,500-year-old tree. And it is an honor. I've been carving for about 9 years now, and I couldn't ask for a greater honor than to be working on the Snider. Okay, I started in the Space Shuttle program 2 years before we launched the first shuttle in 1979. And I helped launch every shuttle except for the last 2, although I worked on every mission. I had the pleasure and God's grace for 31 years to be a quality and safety engineer in the Space Shuttle program. On my wall I have the Shuttle First Flight Achievement Award. I have the Shuttle 100 Flight Space Shuttle. I have several other special awards that were given to me by the astronauts. In 2010, I volunteered for the layoff, knowing that I was trying to get my business up and running. So I volunteered in 2010, and that's when I opened Snider Studio here in Port St. John. I've had a couple of other articles done on me by Florida Today. I've been a guest artist on several different fishing forums. I recently was on Fox 35 News for opening a business after being laid off from the space shuttle. I carry, these are mostly imports that I import from all over the world. With the exception, this is one of my fine fish trophies. This is a redfish trophy that I created. This is a bonefish trophy that I created here at Snider Studio. And then this is one of my mahi-mahi trophies that I created here in the studio.
Okay.
Everything else here is basically imports from all over the world.
And what gave you the idea to make the leap into wood carving? Did you have kind of a small hobby in this area, and then you just decided to take it full time, or were you talking with friends? Tell us a little bit more. Well,
actually, what got me in this was knowing that I was going to lose my job. In 2005, they told us that we would shut down the Space Shuttle program in 2010. So I started going to church and praying for somebody to give me, or I started asking God to reveal to me what it was that I could do in the future. And so, shortly after that, 3 hurricanes came through, knocked down a whole lot of wood, knocked down all the timbers here in Florida. And every day I drive back and forth to work and see all these piles of wood on the side of the road. So I just started gathering wood. I would bring a truck load of timbers home every day, and people would ask me, well, what are you going to do with that? And I didn't know. So I started just taking wood and piling it up and saving it and doing research on carving and taking it to the mill and having it slabbed out. Originally I started carving tikis, but I realized very quickly that the tiki market was saturated in Florida. So my girlfriend at the time basically said, well, you fished all your life, you surfed all your life, why don't you just carve fish and surfboards? So basically that just took off, and the rest is history.
And that was a few years ago? What, 4
That
years?
was in 2006 I started carving.
Okay. And you said you've received some awards for your work.
Yes, I've placed first place at several fine art shows. I've took first place at Lake Eola Fiesta Festival. I've taken different other awards, the Chairman's Award at several other shows. And these are also some of my shuttle awards that I received for Employee of the Month.
Okay. And if you had any advice to give to someone who used to work in aerospace, used to work for USA or NASA, Lockheed or Boeing, one of the several industries that have been essentially gutted since the president's decision a couple of years ago, what advice would you give someone who may be just kind of stuck, looking for inspiration, looking for a new career field such as yourself? Would you give them any particular advice?
Yeah, I would tell them to look deep in their soul, ask for help as far as praying, to understand what it is, that the talent that they have. I really believe that every single one of us has a God-given talent, but you have to seek it. And when you hear someone talking to you, when somebody whispers in your ear, you listen, and don't be afraid to try something that you've never done.
Yeah.